Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and we're going to do an update on the Shueisha situation. If you remember last week, it was rumored that Shueisha, which owns Shonen Jump and is a publisher of manga such as One Piece and Dragon Ball, was apparently going out to Twitter and copyright striking fan art, GIFs, any kind of post dealing with One Piece or Dragon Ball or other Shueisha IP, and fans were outraged. Even an official artist who worked on Shueisha content was struck, and there was lots of outrage about it. And it turns out that it's untrue. It wasn't true. We did an update to that video saying that it was rumored that somebody else was perpetuating these copyright strikes. And now an official statement has been released that, yeah, this is not the case. Now, what concerns me about this, okay? What really concerns me about this is basically anybody at this point can claim to be a publisher or an IP rights holder and go out to social media and strike your account and get your account locked or get your account banned. That's some serious bullshit, right? So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 170,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about anime and manga, at least topics we're interested in the anime and manga sphere, as well as general pop culture, video game news, comic book news, etc. And so let's back it up a little bit and talk about what happened. Okay, this was like a week ago that Shueisha reportedly was locking Twitter accounts that uploaded images from popular IPs, and people were furious that images or clips of Dragon Ball and One Piece were getting flagged, GIFs were getting flagged, avatars were getting flagged. There was word that this had something to do with the Japanese copyright law, the new laws that were passed to protect manga from piracy, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But people were furious. I mean, they were absolutely furious, including Japanese artist Fenyo, who worked with Shueisha on official art for the mobile games for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Legends. They wrote on Friday morning to their 60,000 followers that the account was locked. So this is an official artist, an official Shueisha artist. My Twitter account was locked once. I went back because I checked the copyright policy, Fenyo wrote. I don't know when it will be erased. If it's erased, it will not be revived. Bye-bye. And there was silence for days, and now it turns out that is not the case. Viz put this out yesterday, that here's an official statement. It has come to our attention, Shueisha has been falsely misrepresented by an individual sending copyright and removal requests on Twitter and other social media platforms. Shueisha is currently consulting with the various platforms to investigate what measures can be taken to address this issue. And this is a huge issue because it shows that how easily you can false flag someone on social media. And those of us who do YouTube and have done YouTube for a while, we've been doing it for about 5 years now. We know how easy it is to false flag videos. We know how easy it is for scammy music companies to file false claims, supposedly on behalf of the rights holders. And I have to wonder sometimes if they're actually, working on behalf of the rights holders. We've had videos before where we've had clips from like an 80s TV show or something, and there's been 10 different companies trying to claim it. And we get them all reversed because it was fair use. We were, talking about this show or whatever. But it is scary because anybody can pretend to be Viz or pretend to be Disney or pretend to be Warner Brothers and have your content taken down for a while or have your account locked. And even if they reverse it and they finally find out who did it, and in this case, I think it's because there was so much of an uproar about this, from the fan community, they were able to do something about it. But what about all the individuals that are being struck on behalf of companies that are not actually companies? They're just individuals looking for a reason to strike your stuff. I know my wife years ago was doing, some My Little Pony themed plushies and stuff like that on Etsy. They weren't actually My Little Pony. They didn't really even look strictly like the trademarked My Little Ponies or anything. They really didn't. And they weren't marked as My Little Pony. but there was a rival fan plushie person who was going out and like flagging all of the stuff because they didn't like her. And I could totally see this happening. I could see rival fan artists or stands of, you know, certain series going around and abusing this system very easily. You know, not good. Here's an article on the Utterhaven. Utterhaven, is that what it is? Shueisha denies copyright strike against Twitter accounts. Last week, several Twitter accounts were locked after copyright claims from Shueisha, one of which was an official artist for their Dragon Ball mobile games. The outrage caused Shueisha to trend for nearly 48 hours, and throughout it all, they said nothing. Yeah, that was not good. I got to be honest, that the fact that they said nothing for almost a week is not good. They issued a statement that the copyright strikes were from a third party using the company's name without their consent. Shueisha themselves stated that they had no involvement in the copyright strikes against Twitter users. This comes with a statement on their Manga Plus website stating that they have been misrepresented by an individual. And that might be the individual that we discussed in the previous video as being rumored was going around, and someone who has way too much free time, by the way. Way too much free time. But it was part of a fan art spat or a stan spat or something. There was some kind of infighting going on, and they decided they were going to take it out on fans of One Piece and Dragon Ball. Shueisha is investigating the incident to find the person that has been misrepresented and will decide on legal course of action. I think they need to figure out what the hell is going on with social media that is so easy to report people. Now, a lot of people wondered whether or not this had anything to do with the copyright law to criminalize manga piracy. And that was my first thought too. But I'm like, if you read the law and you read what they're talking about. Now, I think this law is overkill. And I understand you need to protect your IP. You need to protect your income streams. I get that. But I think it was also kind of overkill. But it does allow for fan art, derivative works, etc. Basically anything that doesn't affect the bottom line of the publisher is okay. You're allowed to review manga. You can show a couple of panels, not the whole pages, not a whole section. They don't want you scanning entire chapters of manga, putting it online for free, because it does hurt their bottom line. So, when people were making that assumption, I'm like, yeah, this doesn't sound right. So we knew something was up. And we just thought, well, maybe somebody is overzealous at whatever, law firm Shueisha hired, and they're just going around and striking too. We've been on the receiving end of that too. We've had strikes from DreamWorks for simply talking about She-Ra in a not so flattering fashion. We've been hit with copyright claims from DreamWorks, and they always get reversed. They do. They always get reversed because you can't stop somebody from negatively talking about your product, as long as you're not showing clips of the show or whatever. And we weren't doing anything wrong. They were just trying to shut us up. So we'll talk a little bit about this law too while we're at it. For those of you who didn't hear, this was last June that Japan had passed a new law that criminalizes manga piracy, and also the websites that link to it. The parliament passed a new copyright amendment last Friday. Again, this is June of last year, that bans the unlicensed downloading of manga, magazines, and academic texts from the internet. The new law takes place on January 1st. So again, people thought that this was possibly the result of this law. The law revision came as the country saw a rising number of piracy and leech websites. Yes, there are a lot of them. Notably, the Manga Piracy site, which had over 100 million hits a month before being disabled in April of 2018, causing an estimated loss of more than $2.7 billion to publishers. If you are caught downloading illegal manga, users will face up to 2 years in prison and fined up to 2 million yen, which is around $18,000 US. Now that's where I have a problem. This sounds an awful lot like what happened with Napster, where they're going after grandmas, because like grandkids were downloading music on grandma's computer, and they were going after the grandma for that. I don't agree with that. I think the sites, absolutely, if you have legal recourse, shut them down. But individuals, putting them in prison and fining them $18,000 for downloading manga, I think that's ridiculous, but whatever. The new law also bans establishment and operation of leech sites, pasting of hyperlinks of illegal websites on an anonymous message board, or providing leech apps for similar purposes. Those found to be operating a leased website will face penalties of up to 5 years in jail or a maximum fine of 5 million yen or both. A senior official of the agency said the new legislation is expected to have a significant deterrent effect, as research by an industry group shows existing legal restraints on illegal downloading of music and videos had positive effects. So, yeah, it's the fear factor. Has anyone actually gone to jail, even here in the US? Has anyone gone to jail for making, bootleg DVDs or anything? Because they always give you that spiel at the beginning of DVDs and Blu-rays. I remember the one commercial with the Wizard of Oz talking about piracy. And, don't do it. The great and mighty Oz has said so. And it's all, it would be hard to make a case for that. I would have to look into it more, but I can't imagine that they're going to chase down every individual user or have the means to chase down every individual user who downloaded illegal manga and they're going to throw them in jail. That's ridiculous. Yeah, so I think, the sites are looking to shut the sites down. You cut the head off the beast and that's, the body dies eventually. But the thing is with these kinds of sites, these pirate sites, is you cut down one and like 5 more pop up to take their place. So it is what it is. I think they're just trying the best they can do to, maximize their revenue, obviously, because they got to make money. Manga's doing really well. Compared to comics, manga's doing very, very well, especially a series like Demon Slayer, but it does cost the artist money when the stuff's not being paid for. It really does. So it's good to hear that this was not actually the case, that Shueisha was not striking people. Let's read some of these comments here. Viz Media, can you help out DBS Hype? He was a victim of these false claims and now has a false DMCA strike on his account. Twitter has not been responsive. Of course not. Of course they're not. And it took Shueisha a long time to publicly make a statement, which put the creator's account in jeopardy. Well, maybe Viz can do something. Maybe they can. I know what they could do. Fire whoever did it, apologize to the community, and put measures in place to prevent this from happening. If it's an individual not related to the company, which we have heard, I don't know what they can do about that. I don't know. It wasn't a Shueisha employee. It was false claims. Not what I expected to be behind the copyright strikes. Oh, I saw it. It was unexpected. Thanks for clearing this up. What happened? People's accounts were being taken down for posting Dragon Ball pics or something. Yeah. And there was research done, again, the full truth on the Shueisha copyright hoax. We did a video covering it. And, kudos, big props to the folks who put that together that got this solved. What kind of sick person would do all that to Stalker? You would be surprised. Thanks for the clarification. Very angry that someone impersonates the company for malicious purposes. Put them in prison for cyber crimes. Yeah, so it's crazy. But the thing is it's scary too, because it's so easy to do this. There need to be measures put in place that, even on YouTube, you have to verify who you are, to YouTube. Why isn't Twitter that way? Why can't, if you're going to issue a DMCA strike against someone, they should have to be a blue check or something, or a representative of a blue check company, and there has to be some proof. Like, I am an authorized representative of this company. Here's my proof. Can I issue DMCA strikes? Because you literally could be anyone and issue strikes. So that's ridiculous. Gonna wrap it up. Hopefully everybody gets their accounts reinstated and everything's okay, and something like this doesn't happen again, and hopefully something like this never happens in an official capacity, because that would be catastrophic for fans. It would be a very bad look for this company. We'll see you later.